Hello, everybody, and welcome to the night's broadcast of Tap Into the Truth. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic day, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, whoever you are, wherever you may be doing it. With you, as always, this is your host, Tim Tapp, coming to you live from historic Roane County, Tennessee, broadcasting here. It's been a while since I've been on Spreaker. Actually, I've been focusing on the Sunday broadcast that I do over at BTR. And in fact, I mentioned that specifically because I want to let everybody who's listening know, please pay attention, tune in to this upcoming Sunday's broadcast. I'm very excited about it. I have not one, but two of the top conservative talk show hosts, according to TopTalkRadio.com, coming on the broadcast. Number one is Mr. Rod Eccles of The Rod Eccles Show. He is actually coming back for a second appearance on Tap Into the Truth, and very happy to have him coming on. We're going to see what new, exciting news is going on in regards to his show as it continues to grow and he's gaining market share. And then after that, we'll have Josh Bernstein. And if you haven't been listening to Josh Bernstein, I just have to continue to ask you, why not? You really need to. You're missing out. He has undoubtedly had some of the best coverage of the Hillary Clinton email private server scandal that anybody has done. The most in-depth, the most fact-filled. He has actually surpassed, in my opinion, the efforts of Mark Levin and Sean Hannity, who are probably the two who have done the best job next to him. Josh has done a much better job. So I'm very excited to be getting an opportunity to talk to him. I've been listening to Josh since his early broadcast days at BTR as part of Grit and Grace. Was actually a guest on the same show that he was right before he really launched heavy into his own solo show. And I'm really excited about an opportunity to speak to him, and we will be talking about Hillary Clinton. And as things continue, we'll probably touch on the 2016 presidential election as far as how everything is playing out so far. And then after that, I have yet a third guest with the possibility of a fourth. Mr. Ken Crow, co-founder of TeaPartyCommunity.com, will be coming on, and we will be discussing Donald Trump. More specifically, what I'm going to try to get to is why so many Tea Party type folks have seemed to have latched on to Donald. Is the Donald really doesn't seem to fit, in my mind, the typical Tea Party stamp of approval kind of candidate. I myself, I've been a little critical of the Trump campaign to this point, and nobody can argue the success he has, but the man's a salesman, and he knows how to sell himself. He certainly knows about branding, and I still have qualms and concerns in regards to considering him a serious candidate, especially for the Republican nomination, because of how many relatively recent changes to his policy and mindset that he has expressed. But we'll get into that, and we'll go even further into it. We'll talk with Ken, and Ken has promised me the possibility of bringing somebody else along with him onto the show, so it'd be a surprise, and would be newsworthy. So, Ken has never disappointed in the past when he's been on, and I think we can take him at his word. And so I'm inviting you right now to check us out live at the Sunday broadcast, which begins at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at BTR. If you have any questions or concerns or trying to find it, you can find links to that broadcast either at the BTR page. You can look up Tap Into the Truth there, or you can find the Tap Into the Truth .com. I'll be posting the links to it there, as well as links and events are listed at TeaPartyCommunity.com, at FreedomWorks.org, and also on Facebook. So you can find in the events section, or just look up my personal page, Tim Tapp, not hard to find, on Facebook, and then you can easily backtrack and find the links there, or check out Tap Into the Truth Facebook page. Links will be available there as well. I'm inviting you all. I think it'll be well worth the listens because these guys are great. I'm going to sit back and let them do most of the talking. And these guys are, well, they're pretty good at it. Like I said, Rod and Josh are two of the top 100 top talkers in conservative talk radio, according to toptalkradio.com. They monitor it, they coalesce it. It's, they know what they're doing too. So tune in, check it out. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's show, shall we? First and foremost, like I mentioned, I am just getting back here to the Spreaker, and I'll probably upload this over to BTR later, so when you're listening to BTR or you're listening later at iTunes or at Stitcher.com or Blueberry or wherever you find this podcast, and you know that this is coming off of a BTR feed instead of a Stitcher feed, well, that'll be the reason why. I'm going to upload it there as well, and every place the show goes, you're going to be able to find it. So, just don't be surprised when it comes across that. Now, what I really want to talk about, I'm going to touch on the Jared thing, because to me this is a jumping point for a much bigger and a far more important conversation that we need to be having. And again, I tend to focus on U.S. politics on this show. I tend to think nationally. But in all reality, everything I'm going to say, even though I may direct it at just this country, and I know there's a great international following here at Spreaker. In fact, I see that in my statistics. I see that when I'm looking at the geolocations. Got listeners all over the world, throughout Europe, throughout Asia, in Africa. And while I'm on that topic, I want to go ahead and thank everybody who does indeed listen. This really is a worldwide topic, so if I say something that sounds limited, understand it's only because I'm in the habit of talking a certain way. But this really is intended worldwide. So let's get into it. I think I said that already, but let's go. First and foremost, let's actually talk about what's going on with Jared Fogle. In case you've been under a rock and haven't heard, Jared Fogle, the ex-Subway pitchman, has been paying kids for sex, in particular on New York trips. This according to prosecutors, and he has went ahead and pled guilty at this point. And I'm pretty angry about this. A little more angry than I am ordinarily when a story like this happens, because a lot of you may have actually heard me kind of defend Jared when the authorities first showed up at his house. I didn't defend him in direct context, but I did defend him in a fashion of so much as saying, let's not jump to conclusions, let's not get ahead of ourselves, let's wait till the information, let's wait till the facts come out, because we already knew at this point that the man Jared had hired, I don't remember now for sure if he's actually was the head guy running the Jared Foundation, or if he was just somebody high up helping Jared. Those details I don't recall right at the moment, and I don't have it in front of me. But either way, we know that this gentleman, I probably shouldn't call him that, this guy had already been arrested and prosecuted at this point on child pornography charges. So my point then was, this still could be nothing more than collecting of more evidence. And that even if child pornography was to show up on Jared's computers at home, it would be entirely possible that it may be there where this other guy had come in and used the computers there at Jared's house. So Mr. Fogle, I gave the benefit of the doubt at that point in time, and I said, point blank, let's wait till the facts come out. Well, now that the facts are coming out, like I said, I am probably a little more angrier than I would have been if I hadn't publicly come out and said anything. So I'm a little mad at myself, but I stand by the idea and I stand by the principle of waiting till the facts come out. Jumping to conclusions is normally a bad idea. When it comes to anything where an investigation is ongoing, we know very little of the facts surrounding the circumstance. And that's the only way they can conduct an effective and thorough investigation, is keeping the public at bay for the most part. That doesn't mean that you don't have a right to know the facts after the fact. And in this particular case, it is upsetting, it is angering, and it is disgusting. According to Rick Haight, Indianapolis police chief, he was quoted as saying, "We're dealing with a celebrity who had the access, power, and resources to do anything he wanted to do in the world. But he chose to utilize that to cajole, convince, and even take advantage of children." Assistant U.S. Attorney Stevens DeBrada said that Fogel used his trips to New York on behalf of both Subway and his Jared Foundation to seek out child prostitutes. Prosecutors allege that Fogel knew that the pornography he received had been secretly produced by the former director of his charitable foundation, which sought to raise awareness about childhood obesity, and arranged for Fogel to visit schools and urge children to adopt healthy eating and exercise habits. Fogel agreed this past Wednesday to plead guilty to allegations that he paid for sex with girls as young as 16 and received child pornography. The case already has destroyed his career with the sandwich shop chain, aka Subway, and could send him to prison for more than a decade. He pled guilty to soliciting sex with girls as young as 16. But according to some reports, credible reports I might add, although still not verified by me, so I'm going to be real careful about this. But according to some reports, he sought sex with girls as young as 11. That he, in fact, did engage in sexual activity with some girls as young as 14. Made lewd and corrupt statements about middle school-aged children. Young girls. Now, this is disturbing on multiple levels. First of all, Jared was a family man, in so much as he had a family. In fact, he has 2 minor children, which he is no longer going to be allowed to have unsupervised visits with, and rightfully so, I might add, as terms of his plea agreement. He had a wife. He had access and celebrity enough that he could have had as much consensual sex with young women of consensual age as he chose. That's the thing about where our culture has gotten in this country. We live in a culture where celebrity can get you just about whatever you want, no matter what you're famous for. Jared Fogel's story that brought him to the forefront